Hi, it's Bob. I'm with the North American COE for BTP, and today I'm going to give you a really concise briefing on BTP and why it's important. The truth is, it's not the oldest, most established companies that survive, it's the ones that can adapt to change. BTP was created for this purpose. It helps SAP customers become nimble and adapt. There's a lot of pressure these days, right? There's a lot of check engine lights that are on. Application backlog is growing leaps and bounds. Everything is expected to be real time, but we still haven't gotten rid of all the paper, right? Let alone make everything work well together. And enterprises want to become much more intelligent, and that always comes down to becoming data driven. The pandemic has added fuel to the fire, right? That wasn't easy, and it's not getting better with the problems that we have in China, the Ukraine war, the Fed making capital much more expensive. It's all adding up. When I travel the country and I ask customers, are these the problems that they're running into themselves? The answer is almost always a resounding yes. To me, when I look at these, I realize they're not the problem themselves. They're kind of symptoms of a deeper, more underlying issue, and that is complexity. Complexity within the IT department is what's preventing us from going fast. It's preventing us from defeating silos, and it's preventing us from becoming more intelligent with data-driven technologies, right? How do we get here? Well, the truth is we solved one problem at a time. And when we did, we created little tech stacks that we had to then integrate. And that's how you get to a lot of applications running the average Fortune 500 company. SaaS isn't going to save us. In fact, the average company now runs more than 100 SaaS applications, and they haven't discontinued the nearly 500 on-premises apps that they have as well. And so most vendors are not actually helping you simplify. If you look at the universe of vendors, it's huge, and most of them are just adding a band-aid, and even if you narrow that down to the top 25, it's still a very complex problem to solve. So what is BTP in a nutshell? It kind of comes down to this. Most companies that have been around for a while have IT systems that are rigid and complex. The overall landscape is very complex, right? We can help because we had to overcome this problem ourselves, which led us to create the Business Technology Platform that simplifies systems so that our customers could maximize the value of their investments and go quickly, adapt to change with no trouble at all, right? It's really hard to innovate if you're spending 80% of your budget just keeping your lights on, but most companies have charts that look like this. And in fact, if you merge with another company, the problem just gets much worse. Our mission has never wavered. It's always been that the whole's got to be greater than some of the parts if you want to maximize the value of your systems. Modularity is going to solve our complexity problems. Monolithic apps are a thing of the past. The future is going to be much more modular, real-time, and cloud first. So when you look at this chart, our point A, right? To me, that chart absolutely looks like the insides of a Swiss watch. All these complex gears and levers. But when it's all working well, you can report your numbers to Wall Street on time. The new model that we have to have looks a lot more like an Apple smartwatch, right? You've never worried if you download an application for fitness to your watch that suddenly core timekeeping is going to stop working. There's a separation from that core software from all the innovative layer. That's exactly what we need in our enterprise systems playbook as well. That's the architecture that's going to help us. And so if you look at a simplified view of BTP, it includes these technologies to help you become much more modular while going fast with pre-built content. So for example, let's say you're an ERP customer and you're looking at putting in S4. S4 comes with a huge amount of functionality, and some subset of that is going to be the stuff that is covered scope for you. But there's always going to be uncovered scope. But as long as there's a pretty good fit for that core software, you're going to realize that we invented BTP specifically for this arena to help you get a bespoke fit so that everything works well together and also accommodates the future. Right? BTP is going to include all the things that you may not implement today. So full circle, where we started, it's the companies that adapt to change that are going to survive. BTP was created for this, and an incredibly important concept is that if you keep your core clean, you'll be able to take advantage of cloud economics, and you're going to progress much more quickly. So SAP is building all of our stuff on top of BTP in a modular way. And if you build all of your stuff on top of BTP as well, we'll be able to progress into the future together, right? And it all runs on your favorite infrastructure. The best way to envision this is these are the things that BTP does, right? It hides the complexity of all these applications you have running in the back from your associates, from your customers, from your partners. That's how you get to an equation that adds up to a lot more than 3. We recommend putting BTP on your favorite infrastructure because we do different things. You get the best of both worlds. With SAP, you get a focus on the business, things like optimizing your processes, making better decisions with data, defeating departmental silos, and automating things that are part of the process. Our infrastructure partners absolutely do very important things like, scaling your compute and your storage, adding bandwidth, adding additional data centers, helping you manage application containers, right? And so the big difference between us and them comes down to business productivity. The best way I can describe this is through an analogy. Imagine your boss walks in and wants you to build a huge Lego city that covers this entire table to impress clients that are coming in next week. My question to you is pretty simple. Would you run down to the Lego store and buy Lego city kits so that you can build skyscrapers and firehouses and trucks and all that kind of stuff very easily? Or would you go down to the Lego store and buy a huge bag of Lego blocks? This is due on Monday. That's kind of like real life, right? Well, that's what SAP is shipping. The idea of city kits, things that are already 85, 90% built so that you can go fast. And our partners, sure, you can build it on their infrastructure, but you're going to start with a much lower common denominator. Now, our city kits are these things in blue, right? This all kinds of different business services that you can configure with the components in yellow to accomplish your goal. It runs on top of your favorite infrastructure. It's got all the integration components you need to tie all your SAP software together with all the other usual suspects that are in your enterprise through our open connectors. So let's say you wanted to build a portal. You would use our portal technology, our back office connectivity components to connect to all the other software that's in your enterprise, right? You'd want to include security to make sure that everything stays secure. You may want to create work within other applications. You'd include our workflow components. You would want to deliver analytics to the visitors on the portal, perhaps in 4 different languages, right? You would assemble all that with Business Application Studio. 85, 95% written. You would just be connecting the dots and making it all work. The key difference between BTP and everybody else is content. We give you content so that you can create and adapt quickly. It starts with our microservices, but it doesn't stop there. We also include over 2,500 different integration APIs and connectors, so everything works well together. We're releasing intelligent bots for automation every single month. We have pre-built analytics cloud dashboards, so you don't start from scratch there. And you get blueprints, so you know how to put things together in the best practice possible way, right? That is how you become much more productive. Visit this link, but this link's a great list of use cases that you can build with BTP. But ultimately, it kind of comes down to this. Why BTP is part of a comprehensive approach? Number 1, you want to become a real-time, forward-facing, data-driven, intelligent enterprise. You want to defeat the complexity and the silos by taking a modular approach. You want to become much more adaptable and flexible no matter what the challenge comes next. And ultimately, you want to connect everything together with BTP as a central nervous system. The whole idea is to simplify your overall landscape so you can become more nimble. I know that was quite a bit, but if you have any questions, let's connect on LinkedIn. Go to sapbob.com and we'll be able to connect. Thanks.